This show is too fucking good. Honestly, this shit is too fucking good. And I'm telling you, when it comes to Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, do not trust weddings or wedding celebrations. Whenever that shit is popping up, bad things are coming. I'm telling you. Hello. This is your boy Brandon Cryer, aka EF Hunting of Entertainment, and we are back with another review. And the review we got today is House of the Dragon episode 5. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you think you'd be interested in content like this, House of the Dragon reviews, Rings of Power reviews, Andor reviews with that show coming up, She-Hulk reviews, trailer reactions, entertainment news updates, all that good entertainment stuff. If you'd be interested in content like this, subscribe to the Brandon Cryer Network. So let's get into this season 5. So let's get into this House of the Dragon episode 5 review. Now, like I started the video with, this show is so fucking good. Honestly, I just want to quickly talk about Matt Smith, Daemon, who plays Daemon Targaryen. He's barely in the show, but the moments that he's really in the show, he does have an impact, like a really great impact on the story. And his presence is really just felt in the scenes and on the overarching story with him. And he's barely in it. Like it's amazing what he's doing with his role, and obviously the minimal amount of stuff that they're giving him. Matt Smith is killing it. Daemon Targaryen is honestly a madman. Spoilers ahead. We obviously, the episode starts with Daemon with his wife going on a horse ride and him pulling up on his wife. They're having a conversation and he basically ends up flipping the horse, paralyzes the wife, and he ends up killing his wife. And back to my video, I think it was episode 3 that I was like, yo, Daemon's an absolute madman. Like, this guy is just, it's like, is he doing shit? I think he's doing shit with a purpose, but it's also like, I feel like he just be doing shit like Joker in a sense. Like, he's just like doing shit just to fucking cause ruckus in the realm and cause ruckus amongst people. I don't know, yo. Daemon's a madman, but he's one of my favorite characters in the show so far. Also, like I mentioned in the beginning about wedding celebrations, this was a wedding celebration episode. We saw from the last episode that the king's plan was to see if he can marry and try and rejoin and rekindle the partnership between him and Corlys Velaryon to reunite the two powerful houses. And he came up with the plan, or I don't know if, I think it was the Hand of the King that came up with the plan to basically be like, I think you should, like the plan that I originally told you, like I think like you should wed Rhaenyra with I think his name is Linus. So the episode then continues after we see Daemon murder his wife. It basically goes to King Viserys on his ship heading to Driftmark to make the proposal of this marriage to Corlys to kind of reunite the houses. He gets there and they obviously have the conversation of succession, which, you know what I mean, is a big thing on Corlys's mind. And he wants the heirs to have the dad's last name, but they made a deal that once the kind of kids transition to the throne, their name will transition to Targaryen to kind of keep that Targaryen name, and they kind of settled on it. And that was like the beginning chunk of the episode, which was a really good chunk, really important chunk of the episode, because again, it was just securing that marriage and that partnership. But then we also got glimpses into Corlys's son, and we find out that he actually is into guys, but then him and Rhaenyra actually have a good conversation on the beach where they're like, you know we have to do our duty and this would be a good marriage, you know what I mean, you're a nice guy, like basically like they're like we've grew up together, like we're familiar with each other, but we obviously have different tastes in like who we like, so how about we do this marriage thing for the realm and we go about our business. And he was like, yes, I mean, sounds good. So that was probably another big part in that first chunk, them just kind of clarifying how they're going to be moving once they're married, and them kind of just familiarizing themselves and just them coming face to face and being like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this for the realm, right? So the first half of the episode was a really important part of the episode, because obviously it led into the second half and the overarching themes of the entire show. And like I mentioned when I was saying this show is so fucking good, I hope I don't come off as a Game of Thrones stan or a House of the Dragon stan, but this show really is living up to the hype, and I'm really enjoying this shit. And Game of Thrones season 1 to me is elite pinnacle some top TV. House of the Dragon is really fucking good, and it has a lot of the political drama that you got from Game of Thrones, but I honestly think it's a tad bit spicier. And let me know in the comments if you think I'm bugging, but I feel like it's a tad bit spicier because the drama that's going on is going on between family members, whether it's Viserys beefing with his daughter Rhaenyra, him beefing with Daemon, right? Him beefing with, or him having some kind of tension with Rhaenys, his cousin, which is wife to Corlys, which he's kind of having like, it's just like all this. So it's like him and Corlys are in-laws. So it's like there's just like family drama. There's political drama within the family. So it's like it makes it a little bit spicier to me anyway. And a point that I missed in the beginning was a conversation. I'm wondering if we're gonna get more Otto Hightower or if he's kind of out of the show from now on, right? But we see in the beginning that I guess the king dismissed him and said, you know what I mean, you're gonna have to go back to your lands where you guys have, right? But before he leaves, we see that he has a conversation with Alicent, and he's basically like, you were foolish, you were blind by doing what you did and by telling the king. And if you don't prepare Aegon to rule, you know, Rhaenyra, there's going to be a high possibility that if Rhaenyra is queen, that she might end up killing her kids because they may threaten her like claim to the throne. So she really started to think that, take that in. So I'm sorry that I missed that, because that was a really crucial conversation that Otto Hightower, and shout out our Otto Hightower again, like hopefully he comes back in the show, but if he doesn't, he was one of my favorite characters so far, but he really made it clear on how, you know what I mean? He's like, you see, like he was telling his audience, he's like, you see what's happening and what needs to be done, but you're choosing not to acknowledge it. So he's like, you need to prepare Aegon to rule. And then he obviously rides off on horseback, and the rest of the story was shown with obviously the king coming back to King's Landing. And honestly, the second half of the episode was really just focused on the wedding. And it really, again, like, when I'm saying don't trust weddings in this show, it really hung in the scene of the wedding celebration for a really, really long time. There was a lot of things, like the scene never changed. It literally just focused on the banquet hall. And you could tell with the no scene changes and shit just going on, like you see that Daemon's wife's cousin that she was talking to in the beginning of the episode was actually at the celebration and sees Daemon. I honestly thought he was about to run up and try and kill the man, but Daemon exposes the man, is like, yo, like we have no heir, so I'm basically gonna get claimed to a lot of the shit over there. So talk to me nicely right now, right? So there was just bare tension in the place, bare beefs. We see Alicent not even in attendance. The king's like, yo, where's the queen? Hasn't seen her the whole time since she's been back. Shows up late, and then she shows up in like a full green dress. And at the time, obviously, when I didn't know until the soldier or the person next to I think it was Prince Larys, the son of the Hand of the King, was basically like, that's the color that that family wears when they're trying to call their bannermen for war, right? Basically kind of signaling that and foreshadowing that Alicent's prepping Aegon to be heir. Alicent's prepping for that civil war where it is going to be that side versus that side, right? So interesting stuff, honestly, just coming out of this, just a lot of interesting stuff and just a lot of important stuff coming out of this scene, and the tension that just is building on this scene. And it's like, something doesn't pop off, which I'm going to get into very soon, but something doesn't pop off until like the very end. And like, you just know sitting there, because again, we're you know what I mean? Game of Thrones people, we're trained. We know that some foolishness is about to pop off. Something is about to pop off. Like, this shit isn't just going to end with, okay, and the wedding will be soon, and then the credits roll. We know that's not gonna happen. And I was literally sitting there waiting, trying to be like, what's gonna pop off and when are they gonna spring it on, mans? And to what level will it have my jaw dropped and have me shocked? To tell you the truth, this was actually pretty calm and pretty mild for what ends up happening. I ain't gonna hold you. It is pretty calm, but they did have me feeling tense the same ways, because the way the music was building, the drums, the score of that scene, especially near the end, was horrifying. Like, the way that it just made you feel, it was so well done. Such an excellent score in those moments, like waiting near the end, but even just that whole scene in the banquet hall. Honestly, like, I can't even really get over just how amazing that scene was. And like, I really enjoy like a movie like Fences, Denzel Washington's Fences. I really like how certain movies recently have been filming and been doing their setting and been doing their movie in one setting, where it's like they're literally like, so, you know, I don't know if you've watched Malcolm and Marie with Zendaya and John David Washington, but they were literally in the one house the entire movie, right? So I'm really enjoying where directors are letting the scene breathe and letting the audience sit in that scene for as long as it actually would be. It kind of makes you feel like you're kind of actually in this banquet and shit's building and tensions is building, right? So honestly, such an amazing scene. And we even get another scene of Daemon and Rhaenyra, and Daemon basically being like, this is what you want. Cause I guess he's like, he wants that. Been wanting that. And I said that from my episode 1 review. He wants that. And he's basically like, yo, this is what you want. And she's like, yo, bro, like, you know what I mean? You left me back there. Like, if, you know what I mean? If this is what you want, take me right now. Like, go fight my King's Guard. Go fight my father's King's Guard and come take me. Let's go. You know what I mean? Challenging him, which I rated because it's like, because after him just leaving her in the brothel, like, it's like, fam, like, there's no way she's giving you play, which obviously I feel like she's probably going to give him some play down the line, but you know what I mean? That's just me, you know what I mean, making a little joke. But again, going back to the scene where the banquet hall is, there was just so many things going on. There was even a point where, because Corlys's son does like guys, there's a point where everyone's dancing, and he kind of does something with the guy that he likes. It's not even anything serious, but it just shows him like kind of putting his head to head with him, just showing that he's a little bit more affectionate in that moment. And just the dad, Corlys, is looking at that and being like, you know what I mean? Like, come on now, like we're in front of like everybody. It's supposed to be for the banquet hall, for the wedding. So there were just so many moving pieces and so many different aspects to this scene. And it just had like a lot of layers to it. And then obviously we get to the point where the crescendo happens. It finally pops off. It's like a big crowd fighting. And from where King Viserys and Corlys and the Hand of the King were sitting, they couldn't really see what was going on. But a little earlier on, the guy that Corlys' son likes basically went up to Sir Christian, the knight of Rhaenyra, and was like, you know, I'm with him. I know you're feeling Rhaenyra, so how about for their sake we keep this quiet and keep this on the low, or I'm gonna have to do something to you, and threatens the man. And obviously Sir Christian is dumb cheese because he went to Rhaenyra hat in hand and was like, I love you. Let's run away to Essos. You know what I mean? We'll get oranges and cinnamon and sell that shit and we'll just live our life, right? And she's like, how am I supposed to turn away my duty for, you know what I mean, for oranges and cinnamon? Disrespectful to the man. Disrespectful. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? She had to obviously lay it down to the man. The man was obviously hurt. So come to this wedding celebration where he's watching the person that he likes have to forcibly get married. He's cheap. He's tight. And the guy that Corlys' son likes, I can't remember Corlys' son's name. I'm blanking right now. So it's like he goes and threatens him, and this man's already tight that he's not getting his girl. So you're going to come threaten a man? So the fight popped off and we find out that the fight was between Sir Christian and then this guy. And the guy was getting murked, arm broken, knifed, and he was just getting boxed in his face to the point where when it actually finally showed him, face was mush, jaw was like loose and done. Like Sir Christian went off on this man. And we see that Corlys' son in the moment is like distraught and devastated. And even he caught a couple punches from somebody. But he was devastated because when he finally saw his boo's face, you know what I mean, man was devastated. And then it cut to Rhaenyra, and this is how it ends. So it cut to Rhaenyra and the wedding ceremony. They basically, I guess because it popped off, they kind of clear off everyone and they basically just do like this small ceremony with King Viserys, Alicent, Corlys, Rhaenys. You know what I mean? Like really just the main people. And they kind of intercut it with Sir Christian going to the weirwood tree about to like take his own life. And then it comes to the moment where King Viserys drops to the floor and it kind of zooms out. It's a nice shot. It pans out and it's kind of like sticking out of the fireplace, and we see, or like maybe out of the room, and there's like a pile of blood, like a puddle of blood on the floor. And we see just like a rat coming in and like chewing at it basically. And then the episode ends. So we don't yet find out if he passed away in that moment. And like I mentioned in my last episode review, I'm pretty sure episode 6 is where we have a big time jump and we're going to see the older actors for Rhaenyra and Alicent. So I'm guessing that this is his last episode, and that when we get next episode, and I could be completely wrong, I could be talking out of my ass, but I feel like when episode 6 drops, and I'm sure they've dropped the trailer for it already, but I'm sure when that drops, it's going to show that it's going to be a big time jump. King Viserys probably passed, and we're probably going to get highlights into how the tension is sitting so far. So amazing episode, amazing episode. Honestly, like last episode was really good too. Like I can't exactly pinpoint which is my favorite, but I think this might have been my favorite just because the tension that was building in the banquet hall the entire episode. And me just knowing that something was going to pop off because it was a wedding scene. So I don't know. I really enjoyed this episode and I'm loving this show so far. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you think you'd be interested in content like this, subscribe to the Brandon Cryan Network. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this episode and what you think about the series so far, where you think it's going to go, if you think next episode is going to be a time jump, whatever is on your mind about this show and about the series so far, about this episode, let me know in the comments. I'm really looking forward to hearing you guys and what you guys have to say about the show so far. So like I said, if you like TV show reviews, movie reviews, trailer reactions, all that good entertainment stuff, subscribe to the Brandon Cryan Network. You will not regret it. I appreciate you for watching. Catch you next time.